What's up, world? It's your boy, Mike Muse, host of the episode of the Mike Muse Show. I am super excited to be in conversation with someone who I have been a fan of for so long from afar. But then I had the chance to get up and close and personal and become friends with he and his wife, Galila. And that is a beautiful family. They are incredible spirits, incredible human beings, besides from just the good food that Wolfgang creates. There's not too many people who can have a first name basis and you know exactly who we're talking about when we say Wolfgang. Well, we need to say Puck, but if we need to today, Wolfgang Puck. He is joining me today for the Mike Muse Show for his new documentary on Disney Plus, simply titled Wolfgang. What is happening, my friend?
Well, I'm very excited, that the documentary is coming up, but also I think that a lot of young people going to understand that I wasn't born and I opened Spargo restaurant the next day. That there was a lot of hardship before, a lot of obstacles, a lot of adversity, but we just have to stick it out and try to live your dream. If that is what you want to do, it doesn't going to come easy always. People always think, oh my God, he had it so easy. Or I go back to Austria and they say, oh, in America, everybody has it so easy. It's not like in Austria. I said, well, I think why you don't come then and figure it out. So I think that's what it shows. And also it shows the success afterwards. So I think it's David Gelb, the director, did a great job of showing that. And even at the end, he showed us with the family, with Galila and our boys, Cameron, Byron, Alexander, and Oliver. So that was really a nice moment too. And I think what is so great and what it didn't show actually in the movie is the collaboration of Galila and me, what we are doing now. So we are excited about the next part already,
Yeah, well, the reason I want to talk with you is because, my audience knows I love technology besides just food. And we talk a lot about, technology and privacy, innovation and privacy. We talk about Uber and Lyft, Postmates, Caviar, all of these things that offer individuals convenience. If you want your ride to show up quickly on the spot, if you want your food delivered quickly on the spot, if you want a package delivered quickly to you on the spot, there's a certain amount of privacy and data that we have to give up. And so I've always talked about it, Wolfgang, from the perspective of convenience. There's a cost to convenience. There's a cost to getting everything now on demand and quickly. And with your success, there is just, I think you can't be as successful as Wolfgang Puck is and not be a cost associated with it, which I think the documentary wants to dive into. Why did you really want to focus on the cost, right? What it took to create this incredible empire that you have built?
Well, I love what I do. I have passion what I do. Just like the way you talk, you can feel the passion, you can feel the excitement, you can feel that. And I still love to learn. I still love to see new things. I still love even more to do new things. And doing it together now with Galila is a lot of fun and really interesting, sometimes very stressful too. But I think to do it as a family business is great. I have my son who is running our newest restaurant, Meroa now. I have my brother who is running the restaurants at the airports. And now with my wife, we just created a new company and she's the CEO of that. So I think it's really an interesting way. Well, privacy has its cost. If somebody comes up to me and says, can I take a picture with you? I said, for sure, no problem. It takes 2 seconds to take a picture and this person is happy. So we are in the business of making people happy. We are in the business of making people feel good. So that I did all my life. So a lot of people, movie people, they say, I don't want to take a picture. I don't want to do that. And I think that's so silly because it's the public who is paying their salary. Movie stars make $10 million per movie. But if nobody goes and visits the movie, it won't happen very often like that. So I think it's at least we can do is make the people happy.
I totally agree with you. But so I'm curious, you mentioned Galila, your wife, your children. Most people believe that in order to be as successful as someone like you has risen to the ranks, it's difficult to establish a family when it comes to that. Wolfgang, if I can be completely honest with you and transparent, my audience knows I love transparency. And that is the reason why I delayed my family and starting my family is because I put my career first. I put my work first. I put my dreams and my passions first. For you, did you do that, or do you see it where you can do both, or did that come with a cost in terms of how you started your family?
Well, I had my first kid when I was 40 years old, which could be considered late. But then I look at my friend Shep Gordon, you know, who is in the music business and movie business. He lives in Maui. He's 78 years old and he just became a father. So he delayed it even much more than me. But as long as you're happy with your decision, one cannot look back and say, I could have, I should have. You know, to me, what's happened today and tomorrow is the most important thing. I don't have regrets and say, I should have done this or that. Yes. Could I have done things differently? Yes, but that's part of our learning curve. You know, we make mistakes and hopefully we don't make the same mistakes again.
Yeah, because Wolfgang, I think I'm on that trajectory, right? Like having a kid much later in life, right?
Yeah. I don't see any gray hair on your head, so I think you're okay.
You know,
oh, we froze up. Hello?
Yeah, because audience, I'm good friends. Check. They're back. Okay, audience. The reason I wanted to bring that up because I'm friends with him and his wife, and I see the children. But Wolfgang, there's a lot of people out there who are in the same position that possibly you and I are in, right? Who are really career driven, and sometimes they feel bad by putting their career first and family second. What do you say to those individuals who are so career driven, goal driven, to let go of some of that guilt if they do start, families much later, like you and I?
Well, I really believe if you start a family, whenever you start it, you have to find balance in life. You have to spend time with your children. You take them skiing, or you take them on a vacation to the beach, or take them to school, whatever it is. You cannot start a family and be so career driven that you forget about the family. I think it's really important. I have a friend who was in the restaurant business, very successful, but now the kids are grown up, they don't talk to him, and he got divorced and he's alone now. He lives in an apartment, yet at one point he was probably the most celebrated restaurant owner in Los Angeles.
Wow. Well, okay, what about, so I'm going to get to the foods, the cuisine, because my audience has traveled through all the airports to where you see a Wolfgang Puck restaurant in, but they haven't had a chance to be in California to taste some of your food, or to be so lucky to get the governor's ball where I enjoy your spread every year, which is incredible. I don't know how you do it. But I know you started out with a restaurant in Los Angeles, May Maison, and they encourage you to go out on your own restaurant. What was that rallying? Because my audience are always thinking about making that jump of entrepreneurship, right? Taking that leap of faith, right? For you, was it just a signature dish that you knew was going to be something special? Was it the way and the stylings of how you prepare the food? Like, what is it, that thing that made you say, you know what, I can jump, I can take this leap?
Yeah. So when I was 19 years old, I worked in a restaurant called Beaumanière in south of France, in Provence, and the owner and chef there was really my mentor, or he became my mentor. And I said, I want to be like this guy one day. I want to have my own restaurant. I mean, when I was at Beaumanière, it was a 3-star restaurant. And he brought Elizabeth Taylor in the kitchen. I remember he brought Marcello Mastroianni and Catherine Deneuve in the kitchen. Georges Pompidou, who was the president of France, came in the kitchen with him. So not only did he cook great food, but he also was great with the guests, and he made the guests feel good. So from that day on, when I was 19, I said, I want to be like him. I want to own my own restaurant. So then I came to Los Angeles. I worked at Ma Maison for 5 years. I always knew I want to be on my own. I write my own paycheck. And then I had Patrick, who his uncle owned La Tour d'Argent in Paris. I actually offered him a 50% interest. I said, Patrick, if we do a 50-50 partnership, and we run Ma Maison and we run the new restaurant, which is supposed to be Spago, then we can be partners. And he told me, no, I always are going to own 51%. And, at the end of the day, he said that, and I said the same thing. I said, well, then I'm going to own 51% too. And we split up. He closed Ma Maison 3 years later and never opened another restaurant again. And I continue to cook and open restaurants all over the world. So sometimes 1% makes a big difference. And I look back now, I said, how crazy was I? For 1%, you know, he could own half of it.
Yeah, I love that. That is going to be the biggest takeaway I think from this interview is that 1% can change a whole life. Yeah. Right? Because Wolfgang, we're always looking for the big thing, but sometimes a little number such as 1 it can really be the game changer. And what resulted was Spago becoming like this incredible legendary restaurant and iconic that really defined like who you really were. But Wolfgang, I'm still curious, you know, because we, I'm thinking about now people who love food and people who are maybe cook at home or maybe are interested in pursuing the restaurant business or being a chef. And, you know, they make that one dish really well, right? For you, was it the one dish you made really well? And if so, what was that dish? Or do you think it was a technique that you applied to all your dishes? That's what I'd be curious about.
I don't really know what it is, you know, but I remember like at Spago, you know, we made pizzas, but I said, I don't want to make pizzas like everybody else they like to do in Southern Italy with tomato sauce, mozzarella cheese, and a little basil on top. Nothing against it. It's delicious. So I said, I'm going to make mine different. So instead of making pepperoni, I made a duck sausage. Instead of having some other stuff, I put a pesto on the dough so that way you get the fresh basil, the garlic, and everything there. And then we made one with smoked salmon where we cooked the crust and put a little dill cream on top and then smoked salmon and caviar. And people loved it. I remember Joan Collins, the first time I sent her one, she said, oh my God, this is the Joan Collins pizza. I said, okay, you can call it whatever you want. Robin Leach, who had a television show at that time called The Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous. And he said, oh, this is the Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous pizza. So that became such an icon that now I actually had it never on the menu, but lately I put it on the menu at Spago. And guess what? Almost every table ordered the smoked salmon pizza to start their dinner with. And then they order an appetizer and a thing. So it's a perfect thing with the drink. You can eat it as a main course if you want to, or it's an appetizer or whatever it is. It's so good and so delicious that it really became a classic. You know, it stood the test of time.
But I love, audience, and if you're watching, you can see me smile, and if you're listening, you can hear me smiling. What I love about this dynamic is that, Wolfgang, we started the conversation off about technology. And technology, sometimes when you're using a new piece of technology, you're like, oh my God, this is so simple. Why didn't I think about this, right? But it's really about innovation and putting a spin on something and be willing to do it. That's exactly what you've done with food, right? You literally took the innovation of pizza. It's been done, right? But then the way you present it with the dill and the smoked salmon and with the duck and with the duck sauce, it's like a spin with innovation. You're like, so simple, but so unique and so special, right? And so that really, like, you're almost a technologist, you know what I mean, when it comes to that.
You know, food is about technology. You know, the technique in cooking is a very important part. And I remember when I opened Chinois, which is our Asian restaurant, you know, in Santa Monica. So there, I said, I'm going to put my spin, my version of Chinese food, Japanese food, you name it, whatever it is. So it wasn't a rendering of a Chinese dish the way they do it in a Chinese restaurant. On purpose, I said, you know, I know what flavor I want the food to taste like, and I'm gonna make it my own way. Like, I didn't make stir-fried beef with broccoli or anything like that. I made a New York steak and marinated it with a little soy sauce and a little ginger, garlic, and honey, and then grilled it, and then made a sauce with scallions and mirin and soy sauce. And so it was really delicious. And instead of using cornstarch, I've added a little butter, so it made the sauces even richer. That's the way I learned them in France. So I married two cultures together, the French techniques and everything with Asian spices.
You are a technologist. Wolfgang, you're a technologist. We have to change your title from chef to technologist for the innovation. And I have to come over to your house for dinner because I am so hungry now, right? And I want like a nice home-cooked Sunday evening meal with Wolfgang. That would be a delight for me. I know I can't keep you. Go ahead, Wolfgang.
Well, you also can come here. I'm here at Cut in New York right now. You can come right over and we have dinner together here. Have a great steak or a great fish. It's delicious here.
I would love that. I'm gonna hit up your wife after this interview so we can coordinate something. That would be amazing. Wolfgang, I know I can't keep it, but I do want to ask you one quick question before we leave. You started out at 19, right? And here you are, still a young 25-year-old. So how did you able to create this reinvention? Like you were consistently, I wouldn't even use the word reinvention. That's not appropriate. You are constantly evolving, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you get your inspiration on to continuously evolve into new areas for yourself?
Well,
that's hard. That's really
yeah.
hard.
Well, I don't think you have it in you or you don't have it in you. You know, there's some people who want to do the same thing perfectly all the time and are very happy with that. For me, it's the opposite. I want to do something I love to do, but then I always think, how can I make it better? Even like one of our dishes is a Wiener Schnitzel. That's one of my childhood favorites from Austria. So I can make it perfectly, but I always was a little bit not really happy the way we served it, to look with the salads on a plate and the Wiener Schnitzel. So that sometimes the liquid from the tomatoes makes the breading soggy or whatever. So now I designed a plate with Michel Bernardeau from France, a Wiener Schnitzel plate. So I'm really excited to get it made and put it on there. And hopefully it's going to look great and taste great.
It's amazing already. I can literally taste it already. That is amazing. The way you think is unreal. And what I love about you, Wolfgang, is you take these very complex ingredients and you make it very simplified, or you take a very simple ingredient like a salmon and make it completely complex, right? But not so complex that it's overwhelming the palate to where it doesn't taste good. Like, you know, that fine line, and that's so hard because sometimes you can do too much or too little, but for year after year after year, Wolfgang, you've always hit it just right. And that's why you are a chef technologist. I'm going to just coin you a new phrase. Wolfgang, I'm so proud of you. Your journey is incredible. Thank you for sharing with us the cost of success. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you go to Disney Plus to please look at this documentary, Wolfgang. To learn more about the life, because Wolfgang, we always get so caught up in people's success in the moment, but don't recognize, you know, maybe we've delayed until 40 to have kids. Maybe we've delayed into 70. And what does that mean? And what toll does that take? There's always a cost to success. And so I think that's important to discuss, because everything isn't always roses every day in our lives. So thank you for being vulnerable, Wolfgang.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. But, you know, I will tell everybody, one of the things I'll do always is continuing improving, you know, continue to improve whatever you do. You're never, something is perfect where you say, this is so perfect. You always can do it better. Maybe it's just a little thing what you know, and the customers won't even get it. But it makes me feel better if I do something like the Wiener Schnitzel plate. It makes me feel better to do it like that. Do many customers gonna care? I don't know, but I feel good about it. And I think in life, when you do whatever you do, I think in your private life, in your business life, I think continuous improving, I think it's an important part. Continuous learning and being interested in new things.
I couldn't think about a better way to end this conversation. Wolfgang, you got to come back for more conversations about this. Yeah, you're amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Wolfgang Puck. Please go to Disney Plus. Check out his documentary, Wolfgang. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think about it. At I am Mike Muse, M-U-S and Sammy. Until next time, peace.